Hello, my darlings, and welcome to this timeless reading. I am very happy you found some time to tune in and see what kind of messages we're going to receive today. This is a timeless reading, so whenever you found it, it's just perfect. My readings are pretty straightforward. I pull cards and then I read messages and energies off those cards. With that being said, let's just go in. There's no long conversations prior to this. We'll just kind of jump in right now. All right, Spirit. What are those people? Why did you bring them here today? What do they need to know? Curiosities. What do they need to know, Spirit? I'm hearing this very interesting message. It says, there are two sets of hands, one that seek and do evil, and one that not. Okay. We got this card's attachments. You breaking through attachments is actually what I feel. This card number 5. Time to reveal who you are. For too long, you've been hiding your face, abiding by the laws that others install into you. Now it's time to face who you truly are, why you came here, and what needs to be done to walk the path you chose before coming to here. You're well equipped to face your challenges. This is not the first or last time being here. Fulfilling your gifts, fulfilling your path, fulfilling your, what is that? Notion, desires, obtaining more knowledge of who you are at this point of your life, soul evolution. Who are you becoming? Who are you transforming to be? I just get the sense of this evolution of the soul. And in this time and space and reality, you're the one who is ready to face who you are, understanding the connection between something that is timeless and the earth life and experience. I feel that you are at this moment discerning that difference and able to feel or experience the spiritual truth of your existence, of that conscious that continues through lifetimes. And it is very complex in a way, but also very simple. And there is so much that us living through this life experience do not realize, of all the things that come in place for us to experience this life. The experience of life, there's so many things behind it, around it, that was put in motion and monitored and watched closely for each and every one of us going through this. Sounds very, to me it feels very, in a way, complex, because we have no idea. In the things that we grasp might not even be, it's almost like the only small part of it that we're grasping right now, or what is known to us. I'm not sure. I don't know. This is what the messages are. I feel the words, the feelings. I guess the good thing is that Now, once you're ready to face yourself, you can actually start taking actions that are more aligned and choices that are more aligned with who you are. Therefore, you are potentially could be more fulfilled. Like, it's not the length of the life that matters, it's the quality of it. In a sense of, when I say quality, it's the choices, the kindness, the actions towards another. Like, you don't have to be a very well-known figure that fights injustice, although you could be. It's an everyday encounters, things that you've dealt with, things you put in front of you, and how you address it, how you heal yourself through that process, erasing something that may be dragging from a previous experiences in a previous lifetimes, as your lessons are still continuous. As some of them feels added, and some of them feels continue from previous. It's like you leveled up a bit, and so there's, something that you still need to master, but there's also new lessons added to your curriculum, so to speak. There's lots of things coming through for one card. What else? It's time to obtain more knowledge, but I don't know if necessary knowledge as learning new practical things or the spiritual things, or it's just the experience that counts as your knowledge and wisdom. Check in with yourself, see what resonates. Is there anything else? All right. Whoa, I feel like that's the longest message of one card that I've ever had. Maybe that's not true, but recently it feels like it. All right, Spirit, what else? And this deck wanted to come out. It wasn't even out with more other ones, but prior to this reading, it's like, no, this one wants to come. Okay, Angel of Balance. Honestly, I got this card so many times from my personal readings that it's just always such a reminder to be aware of in and outs of energetically speaking, is what I want to say. Time is such an interesting concept, is what coming through, which is interesting because that's not what a message usually about this card, but it's right now for you, for people who tune in and listening. It is the feeling of what can you do with this time you sign up for on this earth to make the best, you making the best out of it, in a sense, the usage of it, right? For the evolution of the soul, for that purpose. What can you do that, and it's almost like not even you personally, although you have to pay attention to your experiences to notice what you need to adjust and learn that is necessary. But it's almost like that reminder, today is the day, you only have this moment, you only have this moment, you only have this moment. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. It's just the reminder how time is fluid and it's just passing us by. And if you are focusing more on distractions of this earth experiences, then there's less that time that could be spent on, working through things that needs to be worked through for your own evolution of the soul. Yes, okay. Anything else? It almost feels like you are on that verge of understanding it and realizing it and making that decision to pay a better or closer attention to your surroundings, to people who are around you, and realizing oh, this is the pattern that repeats itself. Maybe it's the same person. What can I do differently this time in a similar situation, right? If it's a job, for example, maybe you always work so hard and you are used for your, you know, you're not advancing necessarily because you're so good at what you're doing, so it makes more sense for them to keep you down there. Or you're in a relationship again and certain patterns start appear that were previously experienced, but this time you're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, what can I do differently? What can it teach me? What is it teaching me still? And so you slow down and you're more aware of it, and therefore you try different actions, different approaches. Even your own inner reflection towards it changes, because again, it feels like you're on that cusp of things, like when you go up, up, up to the heel, and then, or I feel like a roller coaster, that's long stretch up to the top, kind of slow, and then it, goes over and then goes down. So that's what I feel. Interesting how much more aware you are of this life experience. Okay. Let's see what else Spirit wants you to know. Yeah. Again, like the attachment was brought up, like attachment, what in the beginning I was saying, to ideas that not even your own, and rediscovering who you are without those ideas, who you want to be, who do you feel you are, what's true to you. What else is coming for them? What's important to pay attention to? Got a couple cards here. Ooh, new romantic cycle begins, is what this card says. New moon in Libra. I honestly feel it's like with yourself. Just as I picked it up and glanced on it, I didn't feel necessary another, like partnership energy, but it could be. To me, the focus more was on that balance within yourself. And there is like this new way of, what is the word? Romanticize yourself? In the sense that you pay attention of who you are. Like, how, okay, this might be a bad example. Do you know how when you meet someone new and they excite you, you pay attention to things that they like? Oh, he mentioned or she mentions this movie, or, this hobby, or this song, or whatever that might be. And you pay attention to their food and habits, and because you're so fascinated with them. And what I feel is, if you pay the same level of attention to this new self that emerging, that would be very beneficial. Who is she? What like, you're having conversation, and all of a sudden you feel that little excitement in your heart. What is that was just discussed, right? So just paying attention to those little things that will indicate who you are, and bring that more of that balance, like this angel of balance here, and the scales is all about that balance, right? So I feel this new romantic balance, as it says here, this new romantic cycle is about being more true to yourself and who you are. There's another new moon card that showed up. Now this one is Scorpio, and it says work through your fears. And it feels like shedding, right? The old you and the new you. It happens a lot throughout our lives, through, as kids, young kids, we go into the young adulthood, and we have certain what's the word, ideas and beliefs. And then as we get older and life starts showing us what it is about, we like realize that not everything is black and white. There's a lot of more gray color in between there, and we might start letting go of those different ideas, who we wanted to be when we were younger, or also who are we becoming, what we're leaving behind. Friends from school are left behind. Places we grew up are left behind. For older people, or like even like when you start a family and you have a kid, what do you leave behind, especially as a mothers, because we are like so there attending to the needs of the newborns, who are we were before we had the kiddos. And then as we get older, they leave our nests, and who we are now without them. Like we have all those not labels, I don't like that word, but identities. Oh, I was a husband and I was a wife. I was I had this position and I was so and so, and I'm not. And so all the sheds we do through the life could be surrounded by fears, because we don't know who we are if we're not this. Who am I if for the longest time I was a mother? Who am I if for the longest time I was a caretaker? Who am I if for the longest time I was like a wife or a husband, right? Without that thing in my life. And again, it all brings back to rediscovering that spiritual self and what you came here to do and be and explore and work on. It's like a full circle almost, is what it feels to me. Look at all those moons. Look at all those little young crescents too, like all the new moons. It's definitely a new beginning for you. New beginning with new you is what it feels like. Is there anything else? Interesting. I heard travel into the depth of yourself, because this is where you begin to discover even more the reasons behind things and events and people you meet and how your life has been so far until this point. And yeah, just a beautiful spiritual reading of understanding your spiritual nature and figuring out then where it leads. It's a lot of like a new chapter in your life right now. Very cool. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I hope it resonates, and please leave a comment or like. It does help. And until next reading, please take care of yourself. Bye-bye.